Again, you can big P, small p with vapor lock if you want. There's going to be lots of strong opinions about vapor lock, but we can't exclude vapor lock completely. Now, a lot of folks, let me answer the possible objections about vapor lock before I get into what it is. Some of the objections are, oh, that only happens in piston engines, or that only happens in carbureted engines. It doesn't make any difference what type of engine we're talking about. This is something that happens to the fuel before it reaches the engine. So it can happen in a turbine engine, it can happen in a recip, it can happen in a piston engine, carbureted or non-carbureted. It can happen in every type of engine because it's something that happens to the fuel. Now, I've got a great article here. I want to read it to you. I got to put my glasses on because I've been going for about 20 hours straight. My eyes are suffering. But this article is entitled Engine Vapor Lock in Aviation, Symptoms and Prevention Strategies. And it's written by Neil Glazier. And we'll put a link to the entire article in the description below. But I like this article because it's very thorough. It's written in layman's terms, so it's easy to understand. So if you're not a pilot or an engineer or professional, you can read this and understand what vapor lock is. And a big part of what we try to do on this channel is inform and educate so you feel really reassured about flying in airplanes. The more you know about airplanes and how they operate, the more likely you are to get in one and go flying, because they really are safe. But here's what he says, all right? O'Neill writes this. He says, this is on the first page, I think it's the second paragraph. He says, vapor lock is a phenomenon that can occur when fuel in the supply lines turns to vapor. So you've got liquid fuel. Remember I mentioned that earlier? It can vaporize. Water can vaporize. When it gets to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns into steam. It vaporizes. Fuel can do the same. It doesn't have to get nearly that hot, by the way. This ends up preventing the fuel pump from being able to deliver liquid fuel to the engine. So a lot of you are going to say, yeah, but those engines, those boost pumps are so strong and they provide boosted fuel to those engines. There's no way this could ever happen. All right, you probably want to give this a little p possibility. This guy is saying that even if the fuel pump is there, once the fuel itself vaporizes, doesn't make any difference how big a pump you have. You're trying to push vapor, not liquid fuel. That's the whole point. All right. Can this happen? Yeah. Did it happen? Again, this whole thing is 100 billion to 1, but just hang with me on this because you guys asked, you wanted an explanation of vapor lock. The next thing he says on the next page is this. I think it's bullet point number 2. This issue is more likely to happen in warm weather. That's important. Or at high altitude. He doesn't say and high altitude, he says or high altitude, because of the reduced air pressure and increased fuel volatility. Now, there are a number of different types of fuels that you can put in airplanes. There is avgas, which is a gasoline type fuel. That's primarily for small airplanes, but it's very much like gasoline. And then there's jet fuel, and there's a whole bunch of different jet fuels. There's Jet A, Jet B, JP4,